Hello and welcome back to my channel, all of you beautiful beings of light. It is so bright and light outside here today. We are here studying the lessons of A Course in Miracles, and we are on lesson number 188. The peace of God is shining in me now. And just as I was about to hit record on this video, I was meditating and I asked the Holy Spirit to use me to facilitate the light program on behalf of the Holy Spirit, God, Jesus, all the teaching. So I don't know exactly where that came from. I'm facilitating the light program. I'm asking for assistance with that. So I just wanted to share that since it just happened. I also want to open this lesson today with a couple of notes from Ken Wapnick's teaching guide on this lesson. So, lesson 188, the peace of God is shining in me now. Our next two lessons, lessons 188 and 189, share the symbolism of light. The first one, incidentally, was one of Bill Thetford's favorite. The lesson begins with Jesus's plea, which is actually from lesson 131, why wait for heaven? Why, he asks, delay the peace, the happy effects of forgiveness? Choosing to believe instead you have to suffer to receive your eventual reward. This is the traditional Christian view that your crucified life will be rewarded in the hereafter. So not even while you're here on earth. Its message of salvation's delay, central to the ego thought system of guilt and punishment, is corrected by Jesus in the immediacy of salvation, which is a little passage that I'm also going to share with you now. The one remaining problem that you have is that you see an interval between the time when you forgive and will receive the benefit of trusting in your brother. Ouch. So we have an expectation that we have a long way to go, or we're going to forgive but never forget, or whatever those little quips are that kind of get really deeply planted in our minds. So be careful when you think it's going to take a long time for things to happen. The interval you think lies in between giving and receiving of the gift seems to be one in which you sacrifice and suffer loss. You see eventual salvation, not immediate results. Salvation is immediate, for a miracle is now. It stands already here in present grace within the only interval of time that sin and fear have overlooked, but which is there all the time. So I just want to share that little passage. There might be another one that I'll share with you as well, but I'm just gonna grab this little book here and get started reading the lesson to share with all of you. Hopefully you're enjoying yourselves and having a beautiful experience with these lessons and becoming more and more aware of your own beautiful light that is shining. You could be a facilitator of the light program with me. Why wait for heaven? Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. The light is in them now. Enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. Light is not of the world, yet you who bear the light in you are alien here as well. The light came with you from your native home and stayed with you because it is your own. It is the only thing you bring with you for him who is your source, from him who is your source. The only thing you bring with you from God during this incarnation is your light. It shines in you because it lights your home and leads you back to where it came from, and you are at home. This light cannot be lost. Why wait to find it in the future or believe it has been lost already or was never there? It can so easily be looked upon that arguments which prove it is not there become ridiculous. Who can deny the presence of what he beholds in him? It is not difficult to look within, for there all vision starts. There is no sight, be it of dreams or from a truer source. This is not but the shadow of the seen through inward vision. This perception starts and there it ends. Their perception starts and there it ends. It has no source but this. The peace of God is shining in you now, and from your heart extends around the world. It pauses to caress each living thing and leaves a blessing with it that remains forever and forever. What it gives must be eternal. It removes all thoughts of the ephemeral and the valueless. It brings renewal to all tired hearts and lights all vision as it passes by. All of its gifts are given to everyone, and everyone unites in giving thanks to you who give and you who have received. The shining in your mind reminds the world of what it has forgotten, and the world restores the memory to you as well. From you, salvation radiates with gifts beyond all measure, given and returned. To you, the giver of the gift, does God himself give thanks. And in his blessing does the light in you shine brighter, adding to the gifts you have to offer the world. The peace of God can never be contained. Who recognizes it within himself must give it. And the means for giving it are in his understanding. He forgives because he recognized the truth in him. The peace of God is shining in you now and in all living things. In quietness, it is acknowledged universally. For what your inward vision looks upon is your perception of the universe. Now I'm going to stop there for a second. We're being told by Jesus that the peace of God is in us now. And the peace of God is being modeled for us as light that we can't see with our body's eyes, but light that we can sense and be aware of through our consciousness in the center of our being, in our heart center. So this last sentence here on that paragraph is so beautiful and really important to hear more than once. For what your inward vision looks upon is your perception of the universe. So this is another time where it's being shown to us that we need to self-love ourselves to death, literally. We have to have a practice where we love ourselves, where we forgive ourselves, because anything that we try to do outwardly from this place of not being forgiven and not being in alignment and not being peaceful, it's going to taint whatever it is that we're doing, even with our best intentions. So make sure that your practice always starts with or has some element of loving yourself and bringing in all of the energy of the universe that you can to light up all those dark places within you. Ask for help with correcting errors in your thinking. Ask to be shown beliefs that you're holding that are not in your best interest, because getting rid of that and releasing that will help shine this inner light brighter. And as you look within, you'll believe it. You'll feel worthy. You'll feel loved, more so than you do now. All right, sit quietly and close your eyes. The light within you is sufficient. It alone has power to give the gift of sight to you. Exclude the outer world and let your thoughts fly to the peace within. They know the way. For honest thoughts, untainted by the dream of worldly things outside yourself, become the holy messengers of God himself. These thoughts you think with him. They recognize their home, and they point surely to their source, where God the Father and the Son are one. God's peace is shining on them, but they must remain with you as well. For they were born within your mind as yours was born in God's. They lead you back to peace from where they came, but to remind you how you must return. They heed your Father's voice when you refuse to listen, and they urge you gently to accept his word for what you are, instead of fantasies and shadows. They remind you that you are the co-creator of all things that live. For as the peace of God is shining in you, it must shine on them. So this is another big, heavy responsibility, it feels like, just reading this sentence. But really, it's what we signed up for, and we acknowledge that we took this on at some level. But I'm going to read that part again. They, being the thoughts that you think with God, they remind you that you are the co-creator of all things that live. That's a lot of things. And you're the co-creator. So be proud of that. Step into that wisdom that you have. Become that higher version of yourself that has awareness and self-love and the desire to share this beautiful wisdom with your brothers and sisters. For as the peace of God is shining in you, it must shine on them. We practice coming nearer to the light in us today. We take our wandering thoughts and gently bring them back to where they fall in line with all thoughts we share with God. We will not let them stray. We let the light within our minds direct them to come home. We have betrayed them, ordering that they depart from us. But now we call them back and wash them clean of strange desires and disordered wishes. We restore to them the holiness of their inheritance. Thus our minds restored with them, and we acknowledge that the peace of God still shines in us and from us to all living things that share our life. We will forgive them all, absolving all the world from what we thought it did to us. Ooh, I'll read that one again too. We will forgive them all, absolving all the world from what we thought it did to us. For it is we who make the world as we would have it. Now we choose that it be innocent, devoid of sin, and open to salvation. And we lay our saving blessing on it as we say, the peace of God is shining in me now. Let all things shine upon me in that peace, and let me bless them with the light in me. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in you now. Every day, all the time. Since this earthly birth, but way long before that and way long after that, even though time isn't really linear, so what I just said doesn't exactly jive, but you know, we're doing our best here. All right, I want to close this video out with a passage from the text that Ken Wapnick put in his teaching manual for this lesson. So here we go. I hope you're enjoying this. This is a beautiful passage too. There is a light that this world cannot give, yet you can give it, as it was given you. And as you give it, it shines forth to call you from the world and follow it. For this light will attract you as nothing in this world can do. And you will lay aside the world and find another. This other world is bright with love, which you have given it. And here will everything remind you of your Father and his Holy Son. Light is unlimited and spreads across this world in quiet joy. All those you brought with you will shine on you, and you will shine on them in gratitude because they brought you here. Your light will join with theirs in power so compelling that it will draw the others out of darkness as you look on them. So another nod to our brotherhood of man, the sonship. We have to do this together. This salvation journey cannot be a solo ride. Thanks so much for joining me on today's video. I hope that you're feeling the love, feeling the light if you don't see it. I guess we really can't see it with our eyes. And that you trust that these lessons are building upon a momentum that is connecting all of us, that is a thread that is woven through all of us. And it is bringing us to an awakened state where we can truly give and receive at the same time, where we can really benefit from and understand our purpose, what's really going on. Take us away from the unreal and bring us into the real, Jesus. That's the prayer. So enjoy your light today, shine your light, and I'll see you back here again on the next video.